Hi students, today in this video we go for the standard 8 English honeydew textbook and our new unit number 5, and the name of the chapter is The Summit Within. This is the name, and let's the start that what about this lesson, what is the topic in this lesson, the summit within. So let's start. And here is the chapter, the summit within. Here the meaning of title is the summit. Summit, the meaning of this word is top of the mountain. Within means inside, at the summit of at the top of the mountain. So here the meaning of this title is that the top of the mountain, and at the mountain the writer shared his feeling that what he felt after the climbing the mountain. So let's read the chapter. And here is a pre-introduction paragraph of this chapter. That what about this chapter, that Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia was a member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in 1965. Here you have to remember the year and what the expedition means, trip. And the name of the major is H.P.S. Ahluwalia, who was a member of the first successful Indian expedition, means trip that had been occurred in 1965, and it was a trip to climb Mount Everest. It is the tallest mountain. How did he feel when he stood on the highest point in the world? Now here in this chapter, the feeling of the writer, the feeling of the climber, that H.P.S. Ahluwalia, what he felt when he stood on the highest point, means the summit, what he feel there. Let us hear his story in his words. So this story is like an autobiography, that let us hear what he said about his trip of the Mount Everest, climbing the summit, and then the more difficult task of climbing the summit within. Climbing the summit means top of the mountain climbing, how they climb, and more difficult task, and most difficult task means work is that summit within, means when they reached at summit, and at the top side of the mountain, what he felt there, what he climbed there, how he climbed there at the summit. So here the word used is summit within. And now let's start the chapter, that of all the emotions which surged through me as I stood on the summit of Everest. All the emotions which surged through me, means surged, here the meaning of surged is arose, suddenly and intensely aroused. Arose is a past of arise, that through me as I stood on the summit of Mount Everest. When I stood at the summit, means top of the Everest, then all the emotions came into my mind, looking over miles of panorama below us. Panorama means view. Looking over the view below us. Below means downside. The dominant one, I think, was humility. Dominant means main. The main member of them one, I thought about humility means humbleness. Humbleness means politeness. The physical in me seemed to say, thank God, it's all over. My physically experience, I became physically relaxed, and I seemed to say, means I want to say that thank God it's all over, that we climb at mountain and it is finished and all things are over now. However, instead of being jubilant means very happy. Instead of being very happy that I climbed mountain, it was my success. There was There was a tinge of sadness. In spite of being happy, the writer was had a tinge means trace, had a trace of sadness, unhappiness. Was it because I had already won the ultimate in climbing and there would be nothing higher to climb and all roads hereafter would lead down? So here the writer says that was it because I had already won the ultimate in climbing that here I on the summit of the Mount Everest and it is the ultimate place of climbing and ultimate means last and there would be nothing higher to climb. Now there is nothing to climb means there is no place higher than this summit and all the paths hereafter. Hereafter means without this summit, all the paths, all the roads would lead down. Now all the roads go down, nothing higher than this summit. So this make me sad. So in spite of being happy, the writer feels sadness at the summit of Everest. So this is the first paragraph and now we go for the second. And here is the next paragraph that by climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. By climbing the summit of Everest, top of the Everest, you are overwhelmed, means filled with excitement. Overwhelmed का meaning होता है filled with excitement by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness that you feel very joyful and very excitement after you climb the summit of Everest. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. It is a joy of your last joy of lifetime. Means it is the very ultimate joy of your lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The experience of climbing to summit of Everest change your nature completely. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. The man who has climbed after climbing the mountains, is never the same again. Means the nature of that man, the behavior of that man and the feelings of that man already changed after climbing the mountain like Everest. As I look back at the life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit. As I look back of life after climbing Everest, means after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit. Means other top of the summit like Everest. I can't help that what I remarked that this is the last summit that I climb the summit of Everest. The summit, the mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. Here the meaning of formidable is challenging. The summit, the mind. Here the summit of the mind. Here the writer compare the summit of Everest and summit of mind. No less formidable. Means even to climb a summit of Everest and even to climb the summit of mind, no less formidable. Means they both same formidable. Means they both are challenging and they both are not easier to climb. They both are difficult to climb, that the summit of mind and the summit of the Everest. So these two things the writer compared, that it is very difficult to climb the summit of mind, that every human's mind, and the summit of Everest. So I hope you understood the first page of this chapter, and now we go for the second page. And here is the first paragraph of second page, that even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion had gone. Exhaustion means tiredness. When the writer getting down from the summit, the physical tiredness had gone away. I began asking myself the question why I had climbed Everest. Now the writer became surprised that why I climbed Everest. Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? That what happened to me, that why I climbed the mountain, climbed the Everest, and why did the act of reaching the summit, why when I reached the summit have such a hold on my imagination, why it covered my thoughts, that how I reached at the summit. It was already a thing of the past. It was became past for me that I come down from that summit. Something done yesterday, that it is became past, that yesterday I climbed the summit. With every passing day, it would become more remote. Every passing day means it became more old experience, that someday I climbed the summit, and then what would remain? What would remain? It is only remembrance. Would my memories fade slowly away? Would my memories fade slowly away, that perhaps someday I forgot that I had climbed the summit. So what benefit for me that I climbed the Everest, and why I climbed that? So the writer, in spite of feeling happiness, in spite of feeling excitement, the writer became sad. The sadness covered his mind, that what is the benefit and why I climbed the mountain, that and it would be become past. So it is not useful now, that one day I climb the mountain, I made adventure. So this is the first part of this chapter, and the second part we will see in the next video. And I hope you understood this first part. You have to read this part from the page number 75 and 76 of your Honeydew textbook, and you have to read this part of the chapter very, very well. If you read, then you understand the meaning, the summary of these words. So I hope you understood the part 1 of this chapter. Thank you.